I didn't recognize
Faces again. Swearing in. Melissa, can you hear me? Melissa, can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, thank you. Thank you,
You're
Melissa.
welcome. No problem.
We're good.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, we will find out. Oh, by the way, thanks for, partnering. I'll keep you up to speed. We haven't done anything in everyone that we had to talk to people about it. We're just, they have so many. Yeah. Good, good. Even if it takes
7 o'clock.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I saw that too.
I'm going to start in just a second. You guys ready on that side? You guys ready on that side? Sit in, Jim. All right. Good evening and welcome to the February 16th meeting of the Glenville Town Board. Please rise for the invocation and pledge of allegiance. As it has become custom in the town of Glenville, anytime that we hire new officers, we, for the invocation, read the police officer's prayer. So please join me, bow your heads. Dear Lord, I ask for your courage to face and conquer my own fears, courage to take me where others will not go. I ask for strength of body to protect others and strength of spirit to lead others. I ask for dedication to do my job and to do it well, dedication to my community and to keep it safe. Give me, Lord, concern for others who trust me and compassion for those who need me. And through it all, dear Lord, please always stay at my side. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please call the roll.
Councilman Martin?
Here.
Councilman Rapcar?
Here.
Councilman Goodwin?
Here.
Councilman Wozzachowski?
Here.
Supervisor Hessel?
Here, we have an exciting meeting tonight. We have some things on the agenda, but the big ones, of course, we have a few officers we're swearing in. We have a few promotions in highway department. So overall, it's a good night. We do at the end of the meeting have an executive session that we will be going into to discuss a employment history of a particular person in a matter leading to the demotion, discipline, suspension, dismissal, or removal of any person pursuant to Public Officers Law 105. That will be an executive session that we will go into. It will stay in our session, so we'll come back out from that session. We do not anticipate any more business after that. You are free to stay while we're in executive session until we gavel back out. Something tells me most of you will be gone long before we get to that item on the agenda, but you are free to stay if you want. We will go into executive session for that matter. So that's the only, there are no other changes on the agenda at all, actually. And I'll start on my left with town council reports. Councilman Galuski.
Just a couple things to report, Mr. Supervisor. The Efficiency and Government Committee met on Friday, the 11th. Judge Davenport was a guest speaker and fielded a number of questions regarding how the courts operate, how the courts function, and also the interplay between the courts in Glenville and the court in the Village of Scotia. And also, I just wanted to give a quick plug. I'm sure the supervisor will mention this, but this Saturday, Indian Meadows, 11 o'clock, the sign out on 50 speaks to it. There'll be a trail walk. It's a great event promoting the accessibility and walkability of our local parks. The weather looks good, so if you are looking for something to do on Saturday, come out and join us. And that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Rosbowski.
Yes, Mr. Supervisor, I just have one thing. Tomorrow evening, I will be attending the monthly meeting of the Glenville Town Chiefs Association. It's going to be their annual meet and greet for all of their newly elected officers, and it should be as productive as it usually is. So I will report back on that, but that's where I'll be tomorrow.
Thank you. Councilman Martin.
Just one quick thing. I attended a meeting of the Business Development Committee of the Local Development Corporation. Just had some early thoughts that surround some concepts, nothing to really detail yet, but a lot of good ideas exchanged, a lot of good energy there, and I'll be reporting more details.
Great. Thank you. Councilman Ramatar.
Yes, Mr. Supervisor. I met with members of GBPA, GLDC, SVD, all town entities to help small businesses. Met Wednesday, and we're sort of brainstorming on what some of those business needs might be, putting out possible surveys, and more to come on that in the future. Great.
Thank you. Moving on to the public hearing. I'll open the public hearing shortly, and this is to hear all those interested in any changes to our sign requirements to the code of the town of Glenville. Once I open the public hearing, I'll call on Councilman Martin. I think you have a brief overview of it. Okay. So the public hearing is now open. Councilman Martin, if you can just give us a brief overview, and then we'll ask anyone interested to be heard.
We are holding a change to section 279 or 270-69 of our sign code regarding the requirements for monument signs in our industrial district. This is a part of the code that has previously, I think, been voidable of a lot of guidance, at least it's not a date. And this is see if we can update that and provide some standards for those signs to to abide by. So that's a basic description.
Thank you. Anyone wish to be heard on that matter, either in the room or on the website? If you're on the webinar, raise your virtual hand and we'll call on you to be heard. Anyone wish to be heard on that matter in the room, raise your hand. Going once, going twice. Seeing none in the room and none on the webinar, that public hearing is now closed. We'll move on to privilege of the floor. Next item on the agenda, open privilege of the floor. Anyone wish to be heard on privilege of the floor, either in the room or on the webinar? Again, raise your virtual hand on the webinar if you wish to be heard. Raise your hand in the room if you wish to be heard on privilege of the floor. Going once, going twice. Seeing none in the room and none on the webinar, privilege of the floor is now closed. Next item on the agenda is what you all came for, supervisors' comments to the board. Let me just tell you one thing, my wife is in the room and my wife has ordered me not to talk. So there will be no supervisors' comments to the board tonight, so she can come every time. I knew that was
Thank you,
coming.
B.
That works?
Thanks, B.
I'm under strict orders. No, I have no report tonight because we have a busy night. We have things to get to that I know folks are here for. I'll talk at the end of the evening about work session agenda items and we can catch up on some items at that point. So I'll move on to the next item, proclamation honoring Officer Dunn for his extraordinary life-saving efforts. Officer Dunn, if you'd like to meet me at the podium there. I want to take a moment and recognize your efforts. The chief is, Sergeant Green and the chief have shared with me some of the things that you've done in your first week on the job. And so we're glad you're here. Obviously, you were placed here at a certain time and for a certain reason, and it's something that we're very proud of. So we want to take a moment and give you a proclamation from the town of Glenville. And so the proclamation reads, whereas the residents of Glenville benefit from the dedication and commitment to the town's employees, public servants, and first responders. And whereas on Monday, January 31st, 2022, Officer Christopher Dunn, Officer Kaiser, and the East Glenville Fire Chief responded to a medical call at Target. And whereas a 50-year-old male was found unresponsive, not breathing, and without a heartbeat. And whereas Officer Dunn, after conferring with the fire chief, began conducting CPR while the fire chief connected the AED. And after a short while, the patient's heart started beating and the patient began to breathe, allowing him to be transported to the hospital for further treatment. And whereas thanks to the life-saving efforts of Officer Dunn, effectively using CPR resulting in saving a life and preventing a tragic outcome, now therefore I, Christopher A. Ketzley, on behalf of the town board, do confer on Officer Dunn the town's greatest appreciation and gratitude for his life-saving efforts on January 31st, 2021. Thank you and congratulations, Officer. Okay, you're gonna say that? All right, congratulations. Thank you. Okay, so the next item on the agenda is a resolution appointing Leanne Serafini to the position of police officer. Do I have a motion?
I'll move it.
Do I have a second? I'll second. Moved and second. Any discussion?
Mr. Supervisor, it is with great pleasure that I introduce this resolution, which is proposing to hire Leanne Serafini, who is currently a State University of New York police officer. We've been informed that she meets the necessary qualifications as mandated by the Schenectady County Civil Service Commission. The chief police and lieutenant have conducted an extensive background investigation. An interview was also conducted, and they both recommend the appointment of Ms. Serafini to fill the second of 2 new police officer positions within the town. She was approved as a lateral transfer from the State University of New York Police Department by the Schenectady County Civil Service Office, and the compensation for this position will be set forth in the current collective bargaining agreement between the Glenville PBA and the town for a first-year officer. This resolution, should it pass, would approve the appointment of Leanne Serafini of Burnt Hills, New York to the position of police officer in the Glenville Police Department effective February 17th, 2022. And in further recognition of her prior law enforcement experience, the town will use July 13th, 2021 as the effective date for the purposes of calculating longevity payments. leave time accruals, and insurance benefits.
Thank you. Any other comments? I'd like to take a moment to call on the chief, if you'd like to say a few words before the resolution.
Sure, just a little bit about Leanne. She graduated in January from the Zone 5 Law Enforcement Academy. She actually went to the academy as well, and then you know, right out. She was in field training with SUNY Albany Police until she actually put in her notice today and is starting tomorrow. Hopefully, after the vote. She is a 2020 graduate of SUNY Oswego. Also, 2016 Vernon Falls graduate, which is my daughter went to school too. So I'm glad to have her here. She's here tonight with her father and mom, Dawn and Robert Serafini. And I've known Bob for a long time, and actually Bob's the general manager of Quick Response. He's been here, his staff has been here several times and helped out the police department with cleaning the cars, disinfecting the station, our holding areas and things of that nature. And it's never once asked for anything from us. So I want to thank you very much for all that you've done for us. So with that, welcome Leanne here tonight.
So Leanne, that's probably going to be your first assignment, cleaning all the cars. It's just the chiefs. Anyone have any other questions or comments?
I would just like to offer my welcome to you as well, Leanne. I've known you since you were a little girl, even though you may not remember that I've known you since you were a little girl. I'm very pleased to see you joining our police department. I think you'll find it a really great place to work. I know a lot of our officers that have transferred in are very happy, and I'm very happy that you're joining us. You're welcome.
Anyone else?
Just want to say welcome, happy to have you here, and you've been running a great department. So wonderful to have you.
Welcome, Leanne.
Welcome, congratulations.
Seeing no other, please record the vote.
Councilman Martin?
Yes.
Councilman Avatar?
Yes.
Councilman Zaborski?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wozzowski?
Yes.
Supervisor Kessler?
Yes, resolution passes. Congratulations, Leanne, and welcome. And now we're going to do, we've got to get all the cameras set up so people at home can see it over there. We'll do the swearing in. I got to get chief in the frame. That's it. We're perfect. You're in. We'll start with Officer Dunn. Officer Dunn.
So as was previously mentioned, Officer Dunn graduated from Zone 5 Law Enforcement Academy in August of 2021. He joined our department in January of this year, January 18th. 2016 graduate of Mohawk Valley Community College. He's a 2014 graduate of Scotia Glenville High School. And he's here tonight with his brother. Welcome aboard. As we've already heard tonight that he's been here for a while, and thanks to good field training from Officer Kaiser, did a great job at Target, and we're glad to have him.
So, always change the future and going with the camera. So now for people to feel it's over there. So, that's all the changes. So. I, Christopher Dunn.
I, Christopher Dunn,
Do solemnly swear.
do solemnly swear
That I will support the Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
and the laws of the United States
and the laws of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
and the laws of the state of New York.
and the laws of the state of New York,
And that I will faithfully discharge
and I'll faithfully discharge
the duties of police officer
the duty of police officer
with the police department
with the police department
of the town of Glenville
of the town of Glenville,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
So I just want to thank the town and the department for giving me the opportunity, and I look forward to continuing serving the community that I grew up in.
And now we get to Leanne. Now, Leanne, I just want to take a moment to say a few things here. As Gina had mentioned, you've grown up also around Olivia and us, and it's amazing to me. I feel a little old right now that we're able to actually swear someone in that is grown up with Olivia. But your dad and I were talking today a little bit about a memory that I wanted just to bring up, and it may embarrass you a little bit, but it's probably going to embarrass me a little bit more. But I don't know if you remember Olivia and Leanne making us drag you out to concerts once in a while. And there was a certain Justin Bieber concert in Atlanta City that your dad and I took you to. And you and Olivia had your homemade Bieber shirts on, and I think your dad did too, but that's another story. But we went to dinner, and your father reminded me of this. We went to dinner, and you talked about your passions and what you want to do in life, and becoming law enforcement. I kind of like joke said, maybe someday you work for Glenville. Who knows? We'll see. And so here we are. Who knew that from Atlantic City, a city I never thought I'd get out of safely, to here, that journey took so long. But I'm proud of we watched you grow up. Proud of it, of everything you guys have done. You got to keep Olivia straight now for me, a little bit on a straight and narrow if you can, because you got an officer watching you in the town now. So Leanne, why don't you come on up? Bring your parents up or whoever you like. I, Leanne Smith, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution and the laws of the United States and the Constitution and the laws of the state of New York, and I will faithfully discharge the duties of police officer for the police department for the town of Glenville, according to the best of my ability.
Good story.
Thank you for the opportunity. I'm excited to see the future brings.
Thank you very much. Congratulations. So we have one more resolution. Everyone can just stay where they are. Let's get through this resolution and then we'll take a moment for folks to leave. But I'd like to do the highway promotions while folks are still in the room. So I will move on to the next resolution, authorizing 3 promotions within the highway department. Do I have a motion?
I'll move it.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Move second and third. Any comments or questions?
Yes, Mr. Supervisor, this resolution is another resolution that I am very pleased to present. Due to a retirement within the Glenville Highway Department, there is a multiple instances of employees working out of class to provide the normal services of the department. The Highway Department employees have performed admirably when asked to perform out-of-class duties. The Highway Superintendent does recommend that current employees be promoted to backfill the open positions created through the retirement. Each of the employees recommended for promotion meets the minimum requirements, including the possession of the appropriate class of New York State driver's license required for the position to which they are now recommended for promotion. Should this resolution pass, it would promote Joseph Labrie to the position of MEO Heavy, Joseph Mitchell to the position of MEO Medium, and Jonathan Wanmer to the position of MEO Light. Are you in the room,
They're in the
gentlemen?
room.
Excellent. Very good. Thank you for coming and congratulations.
Any other questions or comments? I want to take a moment to say that, congratulations to each of you for all that you do for the town. I get a lot of comments every day about all the great work that all of our employees do, but particularly what you guys are doing out there in the snow and, your assistance on the water main breaks and all that. It seems to be one a day of those. But thank you. I'm glad that we're able to get this done, and I appreciate everything you do. And I'm looking forward to working with you in your new roles. Congratulations. Anything else? Seeing none, please record the vote.
Councilman Martin?
Yes.
Councilman Ramichardt?
Yes.
Councilman Zaborski?
Congratulations, guys. Yes.
Councilwoman Salke?
Yes.
Supervisor Pettsley?
Yes, resolution passes. Congratulations. I'll pause a moment there. If anybody wishes to stay, they're free to stay. But if anyone wants to leave the room, you might want to leave the room now. It's up to you. There you go. Even my wife's leaving. Welcome aboard. Good story. Was it a good story? Was it a good story? Yeah, you remember
Was it a good concert?
that?
It was the Beebs. Come on now.
Biebs. You have no idea the concerts I've gone to in my time because of
Oh, I'm sure.
Can
Taylor
only imagine.
Swift. Oh, I got stories.
Oh.
All right. Excellent. So moving on to the next item is item number 11, resolution approving the purchase of equipment for the police department. Do I have a motion?
I'll move it.
Do I have a second? Moved in second. Any discussion?
Mr. Supervisor, this resolution is in connection with the purchase of some police vehicles. Chief of Police is requesting to purchase two, oh, wait a minute. Nope, radios. Sorry. Should have read the resolution before. Purchase two, I'm not going to go through the name. It's to purchase two radios from Advanced Electronic Design, Inc., a sole source vendor at a total cost of $12,072. This resolution is included within the 2022 adopted budget, and they're purchasing on state contract.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, please record the vote.
Councilman Martin?
Yes.
Councilman Ramichardt?
Yes.
Councilman Goodwin?
Yes.
Councilman Wozzachowski?
Yes.
Supervisor Hudson?
Yes, resolution passes. Next, resolution 12, approving the MOA between the town of Glenville and the Glenville Police Benevolent Association. Do I have a motion?
I'll move.
Do I have moved and seconded? Just to start the conversation, I know Earl and I and Jason have briefed the board recently on the negotiations with the Glenville PBA. Even though they're not in the room, I'll say that it was I think a good experience. I think the PBA was very open and we had good dialogue. I want to thank Jason and the chief and of course Earl for all their hard work on it as part of the negotiation team, and particularly our counsel Earl, who I think really led the way with their counsel and making sure that we were communicating effectively, efficiently, and really I think made this one of the easier negotiations we've had in my time here anyway. And so, and Jason, of course, providing all the information, all the analysis of the proposals. It was a lot of work behind the scenes, and I appreciate that very much. We went through it before, but for the public's edification, we'll just go through the quick MOA real quick, and Earl can square me up if I forget something, and Jason, of course. But we have a somewhat of a little bit of a complex compensation tier here. So it's a 3-year deal, goes through 2024. The first year of January 1st, 2022, the trainee rate and officer rate first year through the 5th year, there is no increase at all. The officer who is 6-year plus gets an increase of 2%. And I'm just going to go through the basics of it. I'm not going to go into all the details at this juncture. In January of 2023, the training rates for officers through the 6-year increases by 1.5%. And there is a new, so there's not necessarily a percentage increase beyond the 6th officer, but there is a new top tier at the 10th year of service worth $89,500 for the 10th year officer and above. And then in January of 2024, the trainee through the 6-year officer gets a 2%, and the new top step 10-year plus officer will receive $94,000 at that point. We did make some amendments to the uniform and equipment language, which would make it clear that there's a proration of equipment and uniform allowance, which is modified based on the officers either tenure coming in or retirement going out. And you'll see in the MOU, there's 100%, 75%, 50%, and 25% equally distributed throughout the year in the 4 quarters. And then on the retirement side, the other way going out throughout the year so that someone's not cashing in before they leave everything. We also did some work to the recall overtime and out of title pay. And basically we added from $1 per hour for out of title to additional $3 per hour on that. And we also agreed to a field training officer receiving a stipend of an additional $4 per hour, recognizing there's additional duties for a field training officer and the responsibility that person has in training a new officer. We did get some relief on vision and dental, where the town now will only be responsible for 90% of the premium for vision and dental in 2022. And then in 2023, we will be responsible for 80% of vision and dental. So there is a cost share going on as far as that benefit is concerned in both vision and dental. And one of the big things that is helpful to the town is we reduced the cash out leave that can be cashed out from 360 hours to 240 hours. As you know, you sat through budget forums. One of the big things that I lament, and I know you folks lament, is the amount of money that can walk out the door on retirement. And so this has helped to try to stem that a little bit and work on that so that we have more continuity as folks leave. Earl, Jason, Chief, anything I'm leaving out or not mentioning that is pertinent?
3-year contract.
Yeah, I think I said that in the beginning.
Thanks for making sure.
I was too busy praising him. He wasn't listening to what came after.
Better write down or I'll make her happy then.
Anything I missed, Jason? No. All right. Any questions or comments?
Thanks to everybody that was working on this. I know in the past it's been very contentious, so the fact that we have a deal before too much time has passed after the expiration of the previous contract says a lot about the management team and how well you all work together, so.
I think it was the quickest contract probably in your
In record.
tenure. Yeah, we've never done it this quick. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, please record the vote.
Councilman Martin?
Yes.
Councilman Nattagh?
Yes.
Councilman Douglas?
Yes.
Councilman Woodbury?
Yes,
Supervisor Hutchins?
Yes, resolution passes. I see CSEA is here, so they're going to make sure that they beat your record when we sit down and talk.
the gauntlet's been thrown, gentlemen.
Zeros. Did you see right up front? Zero. Did you see that? Next resolution 13, scheduling a public hearing proposing a zoning change for the storage overlay district for construction of that facility at 4232 Amsterdam Road. Do I have a motion?
I'll move
Do
it.
I have a second?
Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion?
Yes, Mr. Supervisor, this resolution will set a public hearing regarding, as you said, the use of our storage overlay zone district. The public hearing is to be held on Wednesday, March 2nd at 7 p.m. or soon thereafter. It's right here in this room. And specifics on the proposed project is will include construction of a 7 self-storage building ranging in size from approximately 2,000 square feet to 10,800 square feet.
Excellent. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, please record the vote.
Councilman Martin?
Yes.
Councilman Nattagh?
Yes.
Councilman Douglas?
Yes.
Councilman Woodbury?
Yes,
Yes, resolution passes. Next, resolution 14, adopting the proposed law, local law number 1, amending the sign requirements for the town of Glenville. Do I have a motion?
I'll move
Do
it.
I have a second?
Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion?
Yes, Mr. Supervisor, this is a resolution that will put into law our proposed change to sign code that we just had the public hearing on. And again, it's regarding the putting forth standards and dimensions for monument signs in our industrial.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, please record the vote.
Councilman Martin?
Yes.
Councilman Nattagh?
Yes.
Councilman Douglas?
Yes.
Councilman Woodbury?
yes,
Yes, resolution passes. Next, resolution 15, authorizing the issuance of a serial bond to finance purchases of new dump trucks for the highway department. Do I have a motion?
I'll move it.
Do I have a second?
A second.
Moved in second. Any discussion?
Mr. Supervisor, this resolution is connection with the issuance of bonds for the purchase of 2 vehicles for the highway department, 1 10-wheel dump truck at the anticipated cost of $350,000 and 1 6-wheel dump truck at the anticipated cost of $240,000. Total amount of the bonds that will be issued would be $590,000. And that's basically it.
That's it.
In a nutshell, Mr. Supervisor.
For much needed dump trucks.
Yes, much needed. I know they don't, they
Right.
don't last long.
We
So,
purchased things for the police tonight, we purchased things for highway tonight. This was a good night.
big toys.
They're not
No, but you know what? We need them.
cheap. Yep.
We need them.
Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, please record the vote.
Councilman Martin?
Yes.
Councilman Ramichardt?
Yes.
Councilman Douglas?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wozzachowski?
Yes.
Supervisor Henson?
Yes, resolution passes. Next resolution, approving the minutes of the town board meeting for February 2nd, 2022. Do I have a motion?
I'll move it.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Moved in second. As it says, we're just approving the minutes for the February 2nd, 2022 meeting. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, please record the vote.
Councilman Martin?
Yes.
Councilman Ramichardt?
Yes.
Councilman Douglas?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wozzachowski?
I will abstain as I was not here.
Supervisor Henson?
Yes, resolution passes. Next resolution 17, approving the monthly departmental reports for January 2022. Do I have a motion?
I'll move it.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion? Seeing none, please record the vote.
Councilman Martin?
Yes.
Councilman Ramichardt?
Yes.
Councilman Douglas?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wozzachowski?
Yes.
Supervisor Henson?
Yes, resolution passes. Next resolution I'm excited about because it means spring is in the air. Resolution authorizing the Director of Parks to approve vendor applications for 2022 season so long as all regulatory requirements have been met. Do I have a motion?
I'll move it.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? As it says, we're really looking to allow for Vicki Hillis, our Director of Parks, to approve any of the vendor applications coming in. As you know, vendors and food trucks are becoming more popular. And so we want to make sure we have a streamline so it doesn't have to come to the board every time,
Mhm.
just to give that authority and get those applications approved all season long for 2022, which we're hoping to be a very sunny, warm, nice, beautiful season. Yeah. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, please record the vote.
Councilman Martin?
Yes.
Councilman Ramichardt?
Yes.
Councilman Douglas?
Yes.
Councilwoman Wozzachowski?
Yes.
Supervisor Henson?
Yes, resolution passes. Next next item is new business. And I'll start on my left with Councilman Galuski.
No new business.
Councilwoman Rosbowski.
I have nothing.
Councilman Martin.
Nothing.
Councilman Ramichardt.
Nothing new.
Okay, I don't have anything new to discuss just for the work session. The items so far that we have, just so you're familiar, Dutch Meadows will be coming in to propose an amendment to their PDD on Dutch Meadows Lane. They're looking to go from, take the townhouse portion of that PDD and to then change it to to add apartments as opposed to the townhouses. So they'll be bringing that in. Bill Hoblock will be here to present that to the board. We do have also some movement on Legacy Park. We have a concept and design for the trail system for Legacy Park. Vicki and I will be presenting to the Park Planning Committee Commission next Tuesday. Melissa's working on starting the seeker process for that. And so we'll just review the trail system for that that's been worked out by Delaware Engineering. And not that it will probably be on next week's work session, but you all read that Hortsman Farm has a development in. We've heard both supporters and detractors for that. That's going through the planning board right now as a PDD, as a referral to the town board. They will be referring that to the town board at some point. They did table it last week. They're supposed to, earlier this week. They were supposed to send it to us already, but they have some concerns they just want to talk to the developer about. I'll be meeting with the developer tomorrow on those, but it is basically a townhome proposal on the farm, Strawberry Farm, and then a commercial development on Route 50 where the farm stand was. So all this is behind Stewart's across from Judson Meadows. So I don't think we'll be ready to talk on Wednesday about it, but just so you're familiar, that's in the pipeline. Anyone have anything, because I am old and I forget, but if you've heard anything, if you have any questions on, let me know now. Any questions on anything that's going on?
No.
Mike's mind is racing, so I'm going to move on before he comes up with something. And we're going to go on to an executive session. Yes. I see the look on his face and I know I'm just moving on. The executive session, we're going to discuss the employment history of a particular person or matter leading to the demotion, discipline, suspension, dismissal, or removal of any person pursuant to Public Officers Law 105. We will go into this room. You're all free to stay here if you like. We do not anticipate any further business to come out to. But you can stay here. We anticipate to do our business in there, and then we will gavel out and be done for the evening. So with that, I will take a motion to go into executive session for the reason I just read.
I'll move that.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Moved in second, all in favor?
Hi.
Aye. Any opposed? We're in executive session. Thank you.
Congrats, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Actually,
Okay, we are back from executive session. Let the record show that the board of the town of Glenville came out of executive session at 7:51. There is no further business on the agenda, so I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I'll move it.
I have a second. I have a move and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We're adjourned. Thank you.
You're all invited if you want to come down.
Goodbye.